Hi everyone, and if you're just joining in, I'm Nina Bosky, and you are watching Life Bites Live, where we help people get inspired about their life. So I'd like to introduce a couple of people that are with me here in the studio before we bring in Michael Cuesta. We've got Doug Casper right here. Hi, Doug.
Nina, how are you?
I'm good, good. Now, you've been from Fleetwood Mac to Lenny Kravitz to Chris Isaak. You want to name a few others? I mean, they're not small timers, okay?
Oh, Don Henley, Michael McDonald.
Oh, I love Michael McDonald. I mean, I like him a lot.
I've just been really lucky. I've got to work with a lot of talented people, and I even like their music, which is awesome.
Wow. And then Tim, you're fresh off a tour with Bob Seger.
Bob Seger, correct.
I remember coming down like Sunset Boulevard one time when I first got to Los Angeles, and I had a little sports car, and I'm like, Hollywood Nights. I'm like, oh yes, and that's Sunset Boulevard by Beverly, yeah. So
that's
anyway, and do we have Michael Cuesta on with us yet, guys?
No, we're still trying to connect to him.
Okay, we're still tracking him down.
Hello,
he is the actual writer-director of the movie Roadie. And it's kind of interesting. The movie Roadie, I'm going to set it up for you guys, right? It talks about a guy that, has been gone for 20 years. And he comes back and he goes to his hometown, right? And he lost his job as a roadie, but he tells everybody he's the tour manager, right? How is it really being on the road? In Roadie, it's Blue Oyster Cult that he was the roadie and the, quote, tour manager, right? But what's the real deal in terms of the road? Because everybody I would imagine thinks it looks very glamorous.
Oh, it is.
It is glamorous, okay.
It's completely glamorous. It's a job. It's a lot of details, and it's a lot of people that you get to work with, and from the outside, I think it probably does look pretty glamorous because people see little snapshots of it.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's a lot of work, and it's a good job to have. I'm glad to have it, and it's like a lot of other jobs. It's not as glamorous as people think.
Every day's a new day. It's a new office. It's a new place. It's a new day. It's a new culture. It might be a new language. It might be new food. It might be all of that and above.
And you're always on the road.
Yes, well, for the most part. Well,
pretty much. I mean, if you're on tour, right?
We took the day off today to.
Oh, I see. To be here.
To come in and say hi.
So, what is how did you guys get into this? Is this it seems like something that you would fall into, or did you say, I want, for this guy, he really wanted to be a musician, right? And the main character, Jimmy, in the movie Roadie. How did you guys come about, for you, Doug? How did you decide to, become a tour
I got
manager?
involved with a bunch of kids a little after the Beatles came out that were trying to put a band together, like most of the kids at that point in time probably were thinking about doing. And when I was in junior high school, I actually got the opportunity to sing a little bit with some friends of mine. We had a band, and after they decided they didn't want me to sing for them anymore, I decided I'd deal with their equipment. So there you go. That's kind of how I got started.
Yeah. And then how about you?
I was 18 years old. I got an offer. My older brother was already in the business, and he worked for a lighting company that was just the beginning of concert touring lighting, basically, in the business. And I started as an electrician learning lighting, and then just progressed through my years as being a stage manager, production manager, and sometimes tour manager.
So for both of you, I'm going to ask you this question. What is the most challenging thing about being a tour manager for somebody?
Waking up.
Waking up and showing up? No, I mean, because it seems like these stars, I'm sure some of them are really great, but it must not be easy, especially the bigger you get.
I think that, the biggest challenge of what we do is just to keep things moving.
Constant flow of things.
Yeah.
If stuff stalls, if something stops, all of a sudden everybody's going, what's going on? So even if in your mind it doesn't have the appearance of movement, as long as it does in everybody else's, things keep moving. And that's what you got to do. You got to keep things moving.
So that might even be a theme song, even though it's not a song. Keep it moving.
Well, maybe,
it's not that you're only just working on the day-to-day things, but you're working on the next shows and the next week of shows and the next month of shows. So it's a constantly working on every city and every date that you're working on.
So what's the best thing about Bob?
What's the best thing about Bob?
What's the best thing about Bob?
Bob's like touring with Santa Claus. Bob's just a great man. He's from Michigan. He never went to Hollywood.
Oh.
He's still from Michigan. He's never sold out. He's a man still with his roots, and he's a singer-songwriter who has a catalog of songs that in the next 10 years you won't see these artists that are playing on stage with such a catalog of songs.
Well, and I think that's the key too, is some of these people, the longevity of music. Do you find that changing? It seems like nowadays, you know, you've got the Rolling Stones, you've got Fleetwood Mac, you've got Bob Seger. I mean, these people have been around for a long time. The new music of today, it seems a little different in the sense that it's not sticking as long.
Disposable.
Yeah,
no soul to it. No.
Yeah.
And the singer-songwriters are the ones that'll make it through in the end.
Yeah. So in regards to, you know, you've been on tour with Chris Isaak, and you know, we were talking a little bit before the show started. He's got some good things that he does too. That he shows up early, and you know.
Yeah, Chris has got a great work ethic. You know, he works hard at what he does. He always shows up early. He always gives you more than you want.
Yeah. Monty, you said you had a chat for us, I think you said, right?
People are just really excited about hearing more about what it's like to be a roadie and a tour manager. They're just like, we want to hear more about the rock and roll lifestyle.
We were big, we did things, and I was the best roadie you ever had.
The band fired me 2 days ago.
I gotta be on the road. I deserve an explanation. I think I'm gonna be spending a little more time in Queens than I thought. Mom!
Can't believe it's you.
I've done the same job my whole life.
My son, the rock star butler.
Oh! How you doing? How you doing? What's that band you worked for again?
Blue Oyster Cult.
The OC!
Called for me.
I'm not too good at that. So you're married? You know her. She's really good, man. I can't believe you're married.
What, it bothers you?
Just like high school, right? Exactly.
Liking that.
It's my turn to play now, for Jimmy.
Buzzkill.
Oh, where did you go, my sweet child? No, don't you play these games with me. I'm up, then I fall inside.
All the women on the road, and you're still carrying a torch for me.
So blindly.
You're not here long, so let's share some old times together, okay?
For a time, but you weren't really mine, so you leave me here just bleeding.
What'd your mom think of you bringing a married woman up to your bed?
Through the snow.
You think you're better than me?
You don't know me, man.
I know all about you. You're a schlepper. Carrying other people, pretending it's yours.
Sorry, okay?
Toughen up. We're just talking.
We always knew you'd make it, that you'd realize your dreams. We always believed in you.
I'm very proud.
And I didn't you know, I don't like where it's going right now. I think
Great the way it is.
What do you think?
I think it's beautiful.
That was the movie Roadie, and it is in theaters right now. It's also on demand as well. So it's I think a really cool film because it talks about dreams adjusted. So if you guys had a theme song for life, what would it be? What would be your theme song?
Get your
Doug?
motor running.
Keep it moving, but yes. And how about you?
We've Got Tonight and Against the Wind.
Against the Wind. That's
good choices.
That's good. Those are good. So what's next for the two of you? Where do you go from here?
Home.
Home. Besides going home.
Well, I'm in the middle of doing some promotional stuff. Chris has a new record that's out, and they're in Europe doing some stuff right now. And we're doing a PBS thing next month, and then March we start touring again.
With Chris Isaak?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And how about you, Tim?
I just finished 3 months with Bob.
Yeah.
And I'm taking a
long
little break
vacation.
right now. Hopefully, with any luck, we'll be back out in September, October at the end of the year with Bob. And then between now and then, I will find some other acts to be working for, and I just haven't decided which ones yet.
All right, it's almost like the movie business. You know, you go on a movie tour, or you shoot a movie, and it launches, and then you're back home for a while. And
with most tours, there's always a beginning. You know, there's always an end date as well.
Yeah.
So you finish your tour, and you have another project to move on to. You know, unless you're like for Doug. Doug works for one particular artist quite a bit. So his schedule's always full from year to year with that same artist, where mine changes around a bit.
One last question, because this movie deals with him going home, right? And he's making up stories and stuff. Do you guys get hit up all the time? Because I mean, I sometimes get hit up about, you know, making movies and stuff. I'm like, I'm just in the promotion side of it. I'm not, you know, making movies and stuff. How about when you guys go home? Do they say, oh my God, I've got this CD here. Here it is.
I think that is, is inherent of being involved in the business. It's like when you're on the road, or you know, people call you and say, hey, you know, it's like, could you help me out? Could you talk to somebody? Could you play this for somebody? Well, the reality of it is, you know, I can do about that much for somebody. You know, I mean, it's like, really, you know, what am I going to do? You know, exactly. If I know somebody in the record business, I can go, hey, check this out. It's great, and they listen to it, and it's like, it's either great or it's like, yeah, okay, you know, that's about where it goes. There's not like, you don't just go discover a star anymore.
Exactly.
You know,
we're not looking for artists. We're attending to what happened, live concerts and live shows and live production.
Well, what would you say to somebody who is just starting out that wants to be either in the front end or the back end in terms of music?
To learn it all from the ground up, from the very beginning. And that's whether you're running out picking up parts or just being around. Yeah.
If you're going to be the manager of a restaurant, maybe you should start washing dishes.
Yeah, for the ground up.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
It helps. You got to know it all from the beginning, from the start of the day to the end of the day.
Kind of like what we're doing here today. Right. So, well, thank you both so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
I so appreciate you being patient, and it was fun to learn a little bit about your story.
That's part of what we do too, you know.
Yeah.
We're patient.
You gotta be, you know. So thank you so much. It's Doug Casper and Tim Lamb. Unfortunately, Mr. Cuesta, Michael Cuesta, was on the set, and so he was not able to join us today. But maybe we can get him back next time for another great live show that we'll have. So thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget to take a bite out of life before life takes a bite out of you.